All right, welcome, friends and family, to the second edition of the Ambition Exclusive Show. We are here with entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and author Mike Fallett. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate this.
So I know I promised you the first spot on the show, but you're officially the first one. We had a little trial run yesterday, so we're glad to have you here.
I'll take it, man. As long as I'm in the top 10, that's all I care about.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Have you always been an entrepreneur, or is this something that you've just gotten into recently?
Well, 2008, I graduated school from Duquesne University, a finance degree. I followed my mentor. He told me to get into real estate. I followed into, becoming an entrepreneur in, understanding the real estate market, but also convenience stores and anything to make passive income. So he taught me the ropes by giving me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this man was a multimillionaire, super successful guy, kind of fell into the romantic, man, I want to own my own business so I can create my own destiny, that type of thing when I was 21 years old. So multimillionaire, he started giving me these books to read. Okay, I'm going to go out on my own as soon as I graduate from school, which really didn't help me out too much, but I kind of felt that, okay, I have a little bit of a finance degree inside of me that I could always fall back on, so no problem there. So I started my first business at 23 years old. I got into rental property, had $0, no money. So people are wondering, how do you become a rental property owner at 23 years old? Well, I became my own real estate agent for like $200, got my license degree, found a rental property, 4-unit building, realized that all I had to do was put 3% down through an FHA loan. Okay, so I made 3% as a real estate agent, realized that they bought the place. The money that I used to buy the place, I made from the commission of buying the place. So it was a no money down, no money transaction. Got a rental place, it was a 4-unit building for basically no money. Started making $800 a month. So bingo, I'm off and running as an entrepreneur. However, that was really just to make money. I really wasn't attracted to real estate. What I was attracted to was creating a business from nothing, zero. I want to create my own brand. Everybody wants to create their own brand, right? So I started getting into software development and realizing that maybe if I connect a bunch of different businesses together through a rewards program, I can create my own company. So me and my partner, we got together. We created a company called Go Next World. Did that for 5 years. It failed. Learned tons of different things from it. Started applying that to other different businesses and really testing the markets in different industries. Then came across couple of different people there. I started a company called Doggy Surprise. You're a big dog lover. I'm a big dog lover.
That's right.
And it was a one-time delivery to people who have dogs, so toys and treats, very similar to BarkBox, but it was a little bit bigger of a package. And that sort of became successful. I would have to say I was making money. I was going to different events, selling boxes, have customers, customer service, realizing how to capture leads. And then I started putting together my own little game plan of, okay, well, if I'm going to invest in other companies, man, I have a basis of how to become successful. People started asking me how to become successful in entrepreneurship. I started helping them, realizing that my value was helping other entrepreneurs succeed and learning how to, and teaching them how to market themselves. And that's whenever I created a book called Dream Starter, the startup business guide for the diehard entrepreneur, which you can get for free on my website now at dreamstartersuniversity.com. And it teaches you basically what I learned at the 7 basics, which vision, simplicity, demand, value, knowing your customers, rewards and incentives, and motivation. You apply those to a business, and you become successful. And nowadays I help people publish books so they can get more speaking gigs to gain credibility and become, an entrepreneur in their community.
Wow, you just rattled off a couple of really good tips there. I'm going to have to go ahead and watch the replay myself. You rattled them off so quick.
Yeah, man. It's and then you meet so many people along the way like you where you kind of motivate each other and you built this network of entrepreneurs. And that's when I met another entrepreneur, Sherry Jo Watkins. We started doing these motivational seminars, and it's just incredible the people you meet whenever you are in control of your life. You can go in all different directions, and that's why I'm even here. That's how I met you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's the main reason that I became an entrepreneur is because I wanted to be in control of my own life. I wanted to make my own decisions. I wanted to call my own shots. And I wanted, if it's a Wednesday afternoon and I'm just, sick of the weekly grind, I can go out for a walk with the dog, or I can, go down to the bar and have a Mountain Dew. So
That's right.
that's why I enjoy being an entrepreneur, is because I don't have to answer to anybody who I don't want to answer to. So I enjoy answering to my clients, and I'm sure you feel the same way about that.
Oh man, it's in I think you're big into service marketing. I tell people, if you're looking to start a business, create a service more than a product. And the reason why is because of the cash flow and the cash that you need to create a product, and any changes that are necessary are going to cost you an insane amount. But service marketing, you know what? I was just reading about that in a book of the week that we talk about. We read a book a week here. And so it talks about service marketing. How do you differentiate yourself from other people? You just got to care more. You have to have a good product, or you have to have a good service to offer them. But if you care more, it's going to shine through, and that's when people are attracted to that.
Absolutely. So, we got a couple of viewers here. If
Who's
you
on?
guys,
Who's on there? Give a few shout outs to these people.
yeah, I don't see who all's here. So go ahead and tell me where you guys are coming from. Tell me where you guys are at right now, and feel free at any time if you have any questions at all. You guys can go ahead and ask those questions, and I'd be happy to get those on the air, and we'll ask Mike those questions.
Yeah.
So feel free to let me know where you guys are coming from. I got this on my my mobile device here, and so I am keeping up with you guys. And I would love to make sure that we keep this an interactive experience. So
Yes.
let's talk. You briefly mentioned the book there. Let's talk a little bit more about the book.
Yes, the book. Okay, so the book, I'm telling you right now, man, I don't know if you ever write. I don't know if you write every day or if you write every week, but I'm telling you, for years, I would write every morning at 5 a.m. for years.
Wow.
Okay.
That takes some dedication.
Total dedication. But what I was doing was just summarizing what I've done the day before.
Mm.
And the reason why I started writing is because I knew I needed to become a better communicator. So I would write to become clear in my head of where I'm going with my life, what I just accomplished, but also to promote myself. I think that the world we live in now, people like to just promote themselves in general. So if somebody else is watching what you're doing, you're going to try a little bit harder. And that's why I started writing everything, putting on a blog. The grammar wasn't perfect. How I was writing, it wasn't as clear as day, but eventually over time you become faster, you become more clear. And then at the end, you have a ton of content that you can base all that off of, put into a book. Take that book and you apply it yourself to become a speaker. And then if you rank it right on Amazon, you might become a bestseller, which gives you more credibility to meet other people and get you into other rooms.
I thought that was really cool, the way that you mentioned when you have people watching, it motivates you to try harder. That
right.
Really with me.
Why do you think people take pictures of themselves at the gym? I think it's for them to show themselves off, but because other people are watching, they're going to try a little harder to, show that transformation Tuesday, whatever the hell it is,
Hashtag Transformation Tuesday.
And Matt Smith just said it's all about opening doors. Absolutely, Matt.
Isn't that the truth? Matt and I have been in touch a lot lately, and he's from the United Kingdom. And so if we didn't have these little devices, shout out to Stephen Jobs for hooking us up with these computers that we can carry around in our pockets all day. But, it's incredible how close our community, our world is becoming. And a lot of people like to say that we're becoming further and further apart in this digital world. And those are the people who aren't learning the skills that they need, and they're not taking advantage of the tools that we have available. And so the people who are, they're learning that this world is becoming closer and tighter. And the people who aren't sticking with the times are learning that, they're getting more and more frustrated with where we're at, because they don't understand exactly how we use these things in order to get our message out in front of the world.
For sure, man. It's all about finding your tribe. I don't know if you read a book by Seth Godin called Tribes, but you find your people so much easier because people label themselves a certain way on social media. So you can find them through, advertising, but You can reach out to people, find they're like-minded like you, or you have a service that can help them in some way. So you're pulling the right people in your life if you use it the right way.
Absolutely. So, we have an agenda here. I think we're kind of going with the flow a little bit, but, I think we mentioned talking a little bit about marketing. So as an entrepreneur, it's very important to get yourself in front of the right customers and the right clients. And in order to, to really get your services out there, and in order to be successful as an entrepreneur, it's important to market yourself. So talk a little bit about what marketing means to you and how you market yourself in this economy.
So marketing is basically the most essential key to become an entrepreneur. You have to put yourself out there for people to see you. Marketing to me is capturing leads. So the more you promote yourself through video, through images, through quotes on Instagram, you're putting yourself out there to say, here's who I am inside, here's what I can offer. And the right people, if you do it right, will find you. So you have to use that to make sure that you deep inside of your DNA is shown to them. And the more leads that you have, the more of a chance that you can take them down the funnel, the pipeline, to actually, making an income from it. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy where you're trying to just market yourself to make money, but what you're doing is you're marketing yourself to show the world what you have to offer, and then you use that to make money so you can keep doing it more and more on a bigger stage. So,
it's funny because people who aren't entrepreneurs, they'll tend to look down upon the entrepreneurs because the entrepreneur is always trying to make money. But in reality, the non-entrepreneur is going to that 9 to 5 on a daily basis, putting in 40 hours a week or more for what? To make money. So, the more value that we bring to the marketplace, the more value we receive. So I think you're going to touch on that.
Well, that's the whole thing is everybody's in sales. They just don't know it, right? So the difference between marketing and sales, marketing is capturing leads. Selling is actually closing the deal to get the money or to make that, commitment and make that deal done. Thing is I think everybody's in marketing also. So when you go out in the morning or when you go to work, these people are going to 9 to 5. They're getting their best suit on. They're putting the makeup on. They're putting their hair, taking a shower. They're getting in their nice car. And they're going to a job that maybe they hate, but still they have to look presentable. They still talk nice. They want people to like them. They still want to, be looked upon as somebody who has, or to gain respect in the community, right? So you're actually marketing yourself. You just don't know it. What entrepreneurs do is that since they are in control of their life and they have to make money from who they are and the service that they provide, they just do it in a different way. So rather than go to work to a job that you hate, and market yourself in a way that basically doesn't add value to you for the next day, entrepreneurs are marketing themselves every day because the more they do it, the more valuable they become, and therefore it leads to bigger paychecks, and therefore you're on bigger stages, and therefore you have more of an impact on the world. Make sense?
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you.
Matt Smith is hilarious, by the way. Bang on. I like it.
Well, yeah, I like Matt too. He's good people. So, to kind of keep the flow of things going here, we talked about these devices that we carry around a little bit, and go ahead and touch on how the barriers to entry are changing in this digital marketplace that we live in.
Man, the barriers of entry have dropped dramatically. Video, I couldn't do video up until I got a really nice smartphone, right? So you can go anywhere. The thing about what video does is show authenticity. I can take videos in my car. I can take videos anywhere with my family. The more you show yourself and the more that there's transparency between you and your potential clients or you and your market or you who anybody can add value to, the more that they see you're just a human being and that you're able to use your experiences for good and to help them. So it adds transparency. But the barriers of entry, you can reach so many people so fast. Now, if we'll give you an example, if you do Facebook ads, all right, you can take a video, you take a couple pictures, you can go on your phone. This is from anywhere in the world. I want to reach this person, this time where they work at this different business. Like, give you an example. Publishing a book. It works really well for real estate agents. So I will go on there and say, I'm looking for 23 to 35-year-old women who work at real estate agents in this area. I'm able to send it out from anywhere in the world. And they're able to get it and eventually call me, and then I can work anywhere in in the world. So that's the whole thing is I'm against brick and mortar companies as a startup because you don't want to tie yourself to some place and you're going to be stuck there paying rent, or if you're paying taxes on that building. And then eventually you change your mind like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore when I go over there. Or you're tying yourself to that building for X amount of time and then realizing it's a bad location. You've doomed the business from the get-go. So being on a phone, you could do it from anywhere. Location is really the big thing in real estate, but also as your business, if you position yourself in the right way, you can be in front of the right people at the right time from anywhere in the world. Make sense?
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. You know, it's crazy how easy it is to share our message with the world. Whereas, you know, even 10 or 20 years ago, you used to have to rent out a conference room at a hotel and, you know, spend money in order to get people to show up to that, that convention or that seminar that you were trying to do. And so, you know, there's a lot of
I still do that. But you're able to find the right people through the phone, but still.
How much easier is it now to get that message out there, to get your, you know, the marketing of your seminar out there in front of the right clients and to get people to show up?
It's huge, man. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur and you're not, now there's different levels of entrepreneurs, obviously. So the people who were 30 years ago entrepreneurs, they're not marketing themselves in the way that we have to now. But the more that you're out there, the more that people can see you. It's just comfortability. People buy from people that they trust, and people buy from people that are like them. So you have to show who you are, and that's how people are going to actually trust you enough to buy it. So use every tool that you have, and this is the biggest tool. I know you're an Apple guy. I'm more of a Droid guy myself, but
yeah, I got that Apple device here.
But I'm telling you, man, it's the greatest tool that you can have. Use it. You have to. You can work from anywhere, so you have to do it.
So, let's talk a little bit about the economics of being an entrepreneur, because you know, there's a lot of different types of businesses out there. And
what's up, Jason? What's up, Jason? He's a Droid guy. I dig it, Jason.
So there's a lot of different types of businesses out there, from, you know, the laptop lifestyle to the brick and mortar. And, you know, for anybody who's gotten into doing their taxes on their own, they know that it's not about necessarily making a profit. It's about making that wash. And so how do we make that wash? How do we continue to have cash flow coming in? And how do we take that income and turn that into positive revenue on the other side?
Yes. So, all right. Now, I talked to you about it before, but people are always asking me, how do I start a business? I don't have much money. Well, you probably follow the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world, the Grant Cardones, Patrick Bet-David, big fan.
Gary Vaynerchuk, please do, because he is going to tell you where the trend is going, and he's going to keep you up to date. So Gary Vaynerchuk is the main, for sure.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the economics, business 101. I didn't learn it in school. I spent $80,000 at Duquesne University. I did not understand it until afterwards, the economics of business. So you buy something for this, you sell it for this. Services. People always try to charge too low of a price in the very beginning. So what that does is lead to bad customer service, because you just don't have time to spend on that client. So you're going to be hurting yourself in the long run, not the short run. But with the economics of business, I'm telling you, to teach you this, if you are confused about it, or if you haven't done it yet, what you want to do is do the eBay app or the Amazon app. And I'm telling you, it works. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about I think he has some type of goal where you make $20,170 for this year, something like that. Have you heard about this?
You know, I can't say that I have. I'll have to look into it.
Anyway, it's basically taking all the junk in your house or going to flea markets.
Oh, yeah.
Using the Amazon app or the eBay app, clicking on it, seeing how much it's selling for, the demand for it, and then seeing how much that person's selling it to you for, and then doing the math. You're saying, okay, it's worth my time. It's worth my investment. And then eventually
he goes out there to the thrift stores, doesn't he? He goes thrift store on Saturdays and Sundays.
But I mean, I love going to thrift stores.
Millions of dollars from his media company, and he goes to the thrift stores to make a couple extra bucks on the weekend.
I mean, it teaches you that little training that you go through. It teaches you about buying low, selling high, and understanding all the work that's necessary to make that transaction. So even doing that on the small stage that at flea markets, it teaches you a lot. And I believe that you can apply that to any type of business. And I'm more into services, like I said. So I make sure that when I charge a certain amount of pricing for helping to publish a book or getting to speaking gigs, you have to charge a certain amount because you don't want to cut your throat by doing it. And it teaches you you're worth a certain amount, you better charge for it. Make sense?
Right. Absolutely. So if you guys are enjoying the Ambition exclusive show and you guys like our guest, Mike Fallett here, please go ahead and drop your favorite emoji below in the comments. We enjoy having you guys here. It looks like we got some pretty good viewership, and we got people from all over the world here. We got Jason from Georgia. We got Matt Smith from the UK. Margot all the way from Dubai. Jose, let me see here. We got Jose Ray from Mexico. Not sure if Grady Paulson's still here. Grady, if you're still here from San Francisco, go ahead and say something in the comments. But thanks for stopping in, guys. I really appreciate you guys. We got a couple more topics here that we'd like to cover, and then we're going to get into some question and answer. So if you guys have any questions, keep those, write them down, keep them close at hand, and we'll be sure to get to some question and answer time here real shortly. So
I think you said something about Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie, by the way. If you're an entrepreneur, you got to watch movies and start to get ideas of some things. But Wolf of Wall Street, great movie. I think it was Matt Smith that talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, the greatest entrepreneur movie I believe is what was it? I'll think of it. I'll get back to you on there. It's about redemption. It's about redeeming yourself. And I'll get back to you on that. Hold on.
All right. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street's one of my favorites. A lot of people condemn Jordan Belfort for making some questionable decisions, but it's like the Bible says, he who sins not, throw the first stone. So he redeemed himself. He did his time. He got out, and now he's doing his straight line persuasion course, and he's helping hundreds of thousands of people become better salesmen by using his straight line persuasion system. So if you guys haven't checked out Jordan Belfort and SLP, be sure to check that out. There's some really good information in there about, he uses a lot of neuro-linguistic programming. He uses a lot of loops, and so you're just gonna have to get into it. There's a lot of good information with the Jordan Belfort's SLP.
Count of Monte Cristo. That's the one I think of.
All right,
the greatest entrepreneur movie out there. You have to watch it or read the book. And what it comes down to, people think it's about escaping from prison and whatnot, but it really comes down to making things right in your life. So everything that was wrong, any person who tried to stop you in your life, anybody who tried to hurt you, or any business that failed, and you're trying to make it from going from either the poor to rich. It's about overcoming everything that's difficult by getting the right training, finding the right mentors, and making things right in your life. So check it out, guys. Count of Monte Cristo.
Speaking of mentors, it's easier than ever to have mentors out there who don't even know that they are your mentors. So give me maybe 2 or 3 of your favorite mentors out there, some people that you watch on YouTube regularly, or some books that you read, or even people that you interact with regularly.
I would say my number one, hands down, is Grant Cardone. Love Grant Cardone. The man's into every bunch of different industries. Real estate, he understands sales. The guy lives the life, and I think that if you're able to understand sales in general, so sales is key in entrepreneurship, but Grant Cardone will teach you a lot. So I would say number 1 there. Number 2 is Patrick Bet-David. Love Patrick Bet-David. I think. What, you like him?
Oh, I love Patrick Bet-David.
Okay, so he's big. And then obviously Gary Vaynerchuk's up there. Those are the 3. But I would say my mentorship now is I read a ton of books. So, like, for example, I try to read a book a week. So I just read this book, Selling the Invisible by Harry Beckwith. And it just talks about selling a service, some of the struggles you're going to run into, being authentic. And it's just constantly reprogramming your mind every day. So wake up in the morning, read a book. So even if it's not on just through video, which I don't get everything through video, I get through books. But even some of the people you meet, like I meet a lot of people just interviewing through the American Entrepreneur web series. And it's incredible what they're able to teach you from their own life lessons. So mentors are everywhere, but the consistent ones are obviously the big three.
I hear you. I couldn't agree more. Grant Cardone is one that I'm familiar with, but I haven't gotten into much, so I'm gonna have to do that. But the other few that you mentioned there, I'm very familiar with, and Gary Vaynerchuk, I listen to his podcast all the time. He's like the king of content right now. He just has like 8 or 9 different ways to just document and capture all of his moments of his life. Patrick Bet-David, he's another one. Valuetainment is his show on YouTube. So if you guys haven't checked out Valuetainment, I highly encourage that one. So
let me see if you agree with me. Now, mentors, I only listen to 80% of what they say. The reason why, no matter who they are, I only take 80%. The reason why is because they all come from different backgrounds. So I wasn't born into an entrepreneur family, but I had to find my way. So you can't really base yourself off of somebody who's born into an entrepreneur family, because some things were given to them that weren't given to you. That's not a bad thing. It's just that your life is a little bit different. Your strengths are a little bit different than their strengths. Your weaknesses are a little bit different than what their weaknesses. But the common theme is the same. But that last 20%, you are the only one that's going to be able to answer those questions. So you have to find out who you are, what you want. It could be all different. Like, I don't really want to build technically a social media company, so I can't really follow Gary Vaynerchuk's thing. But I don't want to build like a sales course, only sales, and that's Grant Cardone. So you can only follow it to a certain point, and then you're like, wait a second, I'm not that person. They're not me. I got to find out my path in life. And the way I do that, you ready for this? I think I talked to you about it. When I meet with people who are looking to kind of market themselves and help them in their business, I get them to write their dream obituary. All right, that sounds creepy, Addams Family-esque. It's weird, but I'm telling you, if you think about the end of where you're going and how you're going to be remembered, you reverse engineer yourself back to where you are now. You realize, you're going to be on the right path or you're on the wrong path. You're surrounded by the right people or the wrong people, or you're in the right vehicle or the wrong vehicle in life to get you there. Make sense?
Absolutely.
So
I was about to throw that quote up there for a second, but I don't think we're gonna have the time for that. So, I absolutely agree with you about mentors there. For maybe perhaps a little bit different reason, and that's just because as an entrepreneur, a lot of people kind of tend to think that entrepreneurs have it all together, and that couldn't be further from the truth. An entrepreneur 9 times out of 10 is shooting from the hip. Figuring it out as they go, solving problems on a regular basis. And so if you've ever watched the Gary Vaynerchuk show, he calls people up who have requested to be on the show, and they ask him a question out of the blue. He's not prepared for it, and he has to answer this question, off the top of his head. So he's shooting from the hip. He's, going with the flow. He's solving problems on a regular basis. And as an entrepreneur, I'll be the first to admit it. I used to be a diesel mechanic in the oil field. I didn't know everything, but it's not about knowing everything. It's about how do we go about solving our problems and how do we overcome our obstacles. And so I think I would say that, it's best to follow that 80% rule for a slightly different reason. And that's because nobody really has it all figured out. Everybody's just trying to figure out how we're going to explain this stuff to our moms. You know what I mean?
It's a good way to put it, man. And that's the thing, man, with entrepreneurship, anytime you're going through you go through really low points in your life and some really high points. But the thing is, man, you take those lessons, you apply to your everyday life. No matter how difficult it gets, in the back of your mind, I've been through worse than this. I can beat this. And it's just that psyche that you can apply everywhere. So no matter how tough it gets, you have the mentality that I can make it through and I'm going to win. I'm going to figure out a way to win, period.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. So, we are coming up on our 30 minutes here, and I appreciate everybody for stopping in. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. Matt Smith has a recommendation for Richard Branson. That's a great one.
Richard Branson, man. I love Richard Branson. Empire, is that the book?
He's got Virgin Mobile, he's got Virgin Trade, he's got Virgin Galactic, he's got Virgin. He's got an empire.
Well, if you think about it, Richard Branson, he's a poster child for, if you're starting a business, he's the face of Virgin, hands down, right? Steve Jobs is the face of Apple. His face is out there. So when you buy Virgin anything, you're thinking of Richard Branson. You have to, right? When you buy Apple, you probably, I don't know if it's going to be like this for a long time, but you think of Steve Jobs. So you're really buying from the person that you look up to. And that's the way to do it. When you're creating a business, you're buying, they're buying from you, whether it's your big brand name or not. It's really you, and you make sure you put on, the right.
Elaborate on that for a second, because I know that there's I've seen some of the guests that we have here. I know there's some entrepreneurs of a lot of different types. There's some multi-level marketers out here. There's some affiliate marketers, and I see a lot of multi-level marketers making the mistake of promoting their products. So I'm an affiliate. I have a few products that I promote, but I'm not actively promoting my products. I'm actively branding myself and Ambition Exclusive. And I know that you're the same way. You have an apparel line, you have a couple of different products, but for the most part, you're branding yourself. So talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so the whole key is branding yourself. The reason why is because no matter what happens in your life, no matter what business fails, it's always going to be you. It's always going to be your face. And the more people become accustomed to you, it doesn't matter. You have more eyeballs on you. Your value grows in society. So therefore, you can apply what you've gone through to something else, and you're going to be able to take those eyeballs, that credibility with you to another business. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you jump from one industry to the next, you're still taking what you've learned and moving it forward, if you will. So that's what I'm a big believer. No matter what it is, make sure that it's all on you. Your life is in your hands. That's the beauty of this whole thing. So you don't want to hide behind a product. You want to be in front of it. It's the way I live.
Absolutely. Margot just basically mentioned exactly the same thing. Mentors will motivate you and inspire you, but at the end of the day, it's you who will do the action. So it doesn't matter how good of a mentor you have, or, somebody can dangle a carrot in front of your nose and kick you in the butt. But when it comes down to it, if you're just a stubborn donkey, you're not going to move. So,
exactly right.
There's that motivation, there's that carrot that gets dangled out in front of you, that goal. And then there's, of course, the other type of motivation, a swift kick in the rear end. But eventually it comes down to making a decision and taking control.
Well, that's the thing, man. And it's execution, right? So people can execute for a day, maybe for a week. And I'll just take it to the metaphor of going to the gym. People go to the gym for a week, January 1st. They can maybe go for a week, maybe a month. Come February, come March, they start to slack off a little bit because they're not seeing the results fast enough. And what I think entrepreneurship is really all about to become successful is doing the right things every day, consistently. So that takes total devotion, because if you do it for a week and nothing happens, you give up, or a month, or even a year. How about 5 years? Eventually, you got to make sure that you are controlling your metrics. And this is, I talk about this with my clients all the time, controllable metrics. What that means is no matter how many videos I put out, I'm still putting videos out. Every picture that I take is tagged correctly. So no matter what, it's going to be on Google forever. Or everything that a testimonial. Make sure that you capture all this stuff and you're executing and doing it consistently on a consistent basis, no matter what. Putting it out there. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to look back after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and there's going to be something there. No matter what happens to your business, there's something there.
Absolutely. It's really easy to as an entrepreneur, you don't have to show up at a certain time. I mean, you should take that discipline to do that for yourself and to do that for your customers. But a lot of the times it's hard to find that motivation. And so to have that content out there that, whether it's on Instagram or it's on YouTube, Facebook is a tough one because there's so much content being posted on Facebook that a lot of the times that content just gets buried. So unless somebody knows exactly what they're looking for and where to find it, that content is going to get buried. So, I've been making a big shift towards producing evergreen content, like you mentioned, content that's searchable, content that you can find. And so being able to look back on your life and see all the content that you're producing is going to go a long ways for those days where you're just feeling a little bit down on yourself.
Well, that's the thing, man. What's going to happen? You're going to be out there, you're going to be promoting yourself. people take your information, they're going to Google your name, right? That's number one thing people are going to do. So why don't you go home, Google your name, see what pops up. If your name's not on there, you got to do some changes. You got to start building a website with your name involved into it, or LinkedIn, or you start using Instagram. Well, all this really does help you. Facebook, you are right, is pretty difficult. But that's what people are going to do anyway. So how are they going to find you if you're not putting yourself out there and it's controllable metrics? And if you can't find yourself, nobody else is going to find you. So make sure that people are able to see you, and it's easy to communicate with you and even buy from you. Make it easy on them.
Make it easy. I like the way you put that. So, we've had some pretty good interaction. I appreciate everybody for stopping in. Is there anything you'd like to say before we go ahead and wrap this up?
There was one guy, I don't see the comments, but there was one man who said he sells products, but it seems to me that he's been hiding behind his products. Who was that? Did you see that?
Jason Matheson from Georgia. I've been speaking with him a little bit over the past few weeks here, and really been trying to help him get his Instagram going, because that's what he mentioned, something about getting his Instagram going. But I don't think that he's alone in feeling that way.
There he is.
I think that there's a lot of people who feel just like you do, Jason. There's a lot of people that feel like they're promoting their product. So if you don't mind me stealing the spotlight here a little bit, it's like the grocery store. To relay this message towards something that's a little bit more traditional. When you go to the grocery store, you're not going to the grocery store because it says Coca-Cola on the front of the building. You're going to the grocery store because you know that they sell Coca-Cola. You're going to the grocery store, Cub Foods, Super One, whatever grocery store is around, and you're going to know what products to expect because of the nature of the name on the front of the building. You're not actively branding the products that you're selling. You're branding your own store.
That's right. So people buy from people they trust, right? Or people sign up with people that they trust. Whether the product or the service is something that they truly understand, if they look at you as a mentor with MLM or network marketing and they trust who you are, you're going to be able to guide them through the tough times. You're going to be able to, work together. So I think that it's going to be, they're trusting you more than the product right out of the gate. But of course, there are companies out there that are getting very big. The bigger the company, probably is easier to get people to sign up. But when things get tough, they're not going to look to the company. They're going to look to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, trust is the name of the game. And that has a lot to do with, I think, why you do your show, the American Entrepreneur, and why I've started doing this show here, the Ambition Exclusive Show. And that's to build up that trust, to know that when people decide to get started with you, and I'm here to put my guests on blast. So if you guys enjoy Mike, feel free to reach out to him.
Yes.
Ask him about anything that you feel like he's a specialist in, because he's talked about a lot of really golden nuggets here. And so I really don't want to use that term because I feel like that term is just overused, but it's true. He has brought a lot of very valuable information to the table. And so if you guys feel like you guys want to work with Mike, go ahead, reach out to him on Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Obviously, it's Mike Fallat, MikeFallat, or Instagram and Twitter as The Dream Starter. Since I
Awesome.
wrote the book, Dream Starter, that's my handle. So The Dream Starter, because the company that I have is DreamStartersUniversity.com, DreamStartersUniversity.com, which we basically help you guys get more clients.
Awesome. So it looks like, we've pretty much covered any of the questions that any of our viewers might have here, and we've covered a lot of really good information. So I really appreciate you stopping in and spending some time with me this morning, Mike.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, and all the people who are commenting, friend me, and we'll start networking, if you will. So the bigger your network. You ready for this? I think that I learned this far too late. I'm 32 years old, but your net worth really comes down to your network. So, I believe that if you don't have too many people to go to in your community, but you reach out to the people online and through Facebook and Twitter, you're able to build a community, and that's your network. And eventually, once it becomes so big, that's your net worth will only follow. So
turn that cold market into a warm market.
Damn right.
Yeah, awesome. So we really appreciate you having you as a guest here, and we're gonna have to do it again sometime. So to all the viewers, thanks for stopping in. Remember that as you guys go about your weekend, that your time is valuable. So hashtag take control, hashtag don't quit. I'm Sean Clargerbo with my guest, Mike Fallett, and stay motivated out there, guys.
See you guys. Thanks.